So let's have a relook at the criticality of having a DPA, data processing agreement. Agreement signed between the fiduciary and the third party, or a processor and a sub-processor. That's a third party, you can say indirectly, who is actually processing the data, primarily with the objective to guide him and tell him the exact processing requirement, and also covering up on roles and responsibilities and security measures required while processing the data. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on data privacy. And as I said, let's talk about why it is very important, especially even for the vendors or the third parties or the sub-processors to have a DPA. Why are they critical? They are critical because you need to set up responsibility of one individual, if not for the entire thing, then at least for the activities. What part of activity is to be done by whom? Vendors are closed or considered closed and moved on to the next person or next responsible area. Whether it's a fiduciary who's fully owning or controller or sub-processor, third-party processing is very, very critical. It's as good as any processing because when there's a breach, right, the fiduciary is responsible. No one is going to ask who processed it. Even if it was a third party, the ownership is from the fiduciary. Data subject request questions, they are going to come to the fiduciary. So fiduciary has to have an agreement with the vendor. And vendor should also be ready as to these are the possible questions that are going to come to me. So I am ready for the answering these questions, right? And suppose there is a breach from a third party, and then the regulators come to know that you shared the data with third party without signing an agreement with them. That's not acceptable. The fines are very, very huge. So you need to be very careful. Signing an agreement and still a breach could lead you to help get guidelines to improve it with or without some fines. But a breach without a DPA, not acceptable. So the DPAs or the agreements assign responsibility to the processor and the sub-processor, and the processor obligations and liabilities are created, and you should get them aligned with your commitment to your customers. So whatever privacy notice you give, whatever purpose you define, whatever consent you got signed, just let it trickle down and say that for me to achieve this, this is what I need to get from my processor and from my sub-processors. There is a risk without data processing agreement. What is that risk? There is no clarity of purpose of processing. It could be, it could not be. Maybe the processor says, I understood everything and there's no breach also. But what if there's a breach and they say they didn't explain me properly? There's no document. Without a DPA, there could be compromise to key security aspects because they didn't know what standards are you expecting. Third-party sharing may not be even informed, both to the regulators as well as to the subjects. And there could be limited or missed breach information. There's a breach and you're not aware of it. Fiduciaries cannot control the monitoring and audit of the processing system if it is on third party and if the agreement does not include the official information or responsibility to monitor. There's a very high risk of breach in such cases and very high penalties if a breach is found and realized that there was no DPA itself. There are some unfair vendor assumptions. These include that the data belongs to the vendor post-processing. Does it belong to the vendor? No. Data is not his ownership. He has to destroy and return. Right? How much time after processing is to be defined by DPA. How would it destroy it to assure you that it has been destroyed? Use the DPA. Incident and breach is a fiduciary responsibility. Answerability is his. But if he has a proper DPA and the breach is at the vendor side, then it could be a joint or a vendor only responsibility, processor only responsibility. Vendor or processor can store data in a budget friendly manner, and they can, provided that adheres to security measures. And if you want to adhere to security measures, then the budget has to be large. No answerability on third party sharing. Processor has answerability. Key red flags: compliance compromise if there is no DPA, increases chances of breach if there is no DPA, and exposure to legal risk if there is no DPA. Three very, very important things in absence of a data processing agreement. So when should you use data processing agreements? While you are using third-party services, Common scenarios: cloud providers, payrolls, marketing tools, CRMs, and processing move out of your own control. These are the key scenarios where you are expected to use a DPA. I hope you like the content of the video. Please press the bell and the like icon, subscribe to our channel, and share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.